Hey yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. Well, as you can tell, I got the jersey on. It is time for another weekly recap for the NFL and my fantasy teams. And let me just start off by saying, lots to cover in this video. First off, I will not be wearing this jersey next week. Had a horrible week this week, and it is time to switch it up. So that's the first thing. This is going on the shelf. Haven't decided if we're going to go with Ray Rice or if we're going to go with Fitzy. Regardless, I will be putting this on the shelf because I went 1-3 this week. Not so good. I said if I had another week of 2-2 or less, I was going to put it on the shelf, so I'm going to. So that's first off. Not exactly a major topic, especially compared to some of the other ones we're going to get to, but still had to get that out there. So, week 13, and really the drama started on the Saturday before. And for those who haven't heard, which you had to at this point, a player for the Kansas City Chiefs by the name of Javon Belcher, on Saturday morning, approximately about 8 a.m., murdered his girlfriend slash fiance, essentially wife. Shot her 5 times, I believe is what was said, in front of his mother. Now, mind you, this is the mother of his 3-month-old child, which is just sickening. At which point, he proceeded to drive to the Arrowhead Stadium, to the practice fields, and once he got there, he was seen and confronted by the GM Scott Pioli, Romeo Crennel, head coach, as well as the linebackers coach, I believe, which he was a linebacker, where he promptly thanked them for everything that they had done, giving him an opportunity to play, since he was an undrafted free agent. Took a couple steps back. Apparently, he kind of crouched down next to a car, said, "I have to do this, I have to go," and killed himself. Which, there's so many levels of this story that just sicken me. I put a couple long posts on Facebook. It's some of the longest stuff I've ever written. And I don't want to get too, dark and gloomy on this, because I try to keep everything fun and, happy on my website. But every so often something happens, in an arena that I am a part of that, obviously not a part of from a first-hand perspective, but I'm a part of from a outskirts level. I mean, I'm a football fan. I love football. So when something like this happens, it turns into a social issue, and it turns into something that has to be discussed. And it then blew up even more because on Sunday night, Jason Whitlock, who I can't stand, is a writer for, it used to be Fox Sports. It might still be Fox Sports. He did a write for ESPN for a while, but thank God they got rid of him. I cannot stand him. Like, of all the articles he's ever written, I swear there have been maybe 2 that I actually agreed with his points. And he's one of those journalists who just goes out of their way to push an agenda, a lot like a Bill O'Reilly or a Glenn Beck or one of those douchebags. And his essential point, and I did not read all the article, I admit that, but was that we need stronger gun laws, and if there was better gun control, this wouldn't have happened. It then was quoted by Bob Costas on the Sunday night broadcast, and next thing you know, Fox News was calling for Bob Costas to get fired. So it snowballed into a ridiculous thing, and regardless, it really is just a shitty situation. Excuse me, kind of getting over some sickness here. I would never, ever I mean, I can't imagine ever getting to a point where I would even put my hands on a woman, let alone shoot her 5 times, the mother of my 3-month-old baby, and then kill myself. Like, and I understand, I can imagine that he just realized what he had done. It was a, crime of passion, if you will. Oh no, fuck, what did I do? I get it. But the amount of people that this has destroyed the lives of, from that little girl who now doesn't have parents, to, I mean, obviously, him and her, to his mother, who, I mean, didn't witness the actual shooting, but was there for it, to the GM, Romeo Crennel, and the other coach, who witnessed their player kill themselves, and then had to 24 hours later pull into the same parking lot, walk past the same spot that he just offed himself, and go and play a game. And I don't want to sound cold or callous, and I don't want to sound like I'm trivializing this, but at the end of the day, and I know everybody has issues financially, mentally, emotionally, no matter what status or class level you live in. But at the most basic level, you played football for millions of dollars. You drove a Bentley. Like, life's not that bad. And it's come out, they've had tons of problems about infidelity, and like, she was out late at the Trey Songz concert, he was out partying with some other chick. I don't want to get into it. But just people think, is it really ever worth it? And the answer is no. I'm not going to try and put myself in his position. I don't know what he's going through, but just think about that little girl. That's just sad. But anyway, now that we've gotten that out of the way, it had to be discussed, especially since the Chiefs rallied around it and actually got a surprising win. Jamal Charles, whose wife's cousin it was, that got murdered by Javon, they actually introduced the two of them. It's really shitty. Put together a really nice game, 127 yards, pretty solid. But want to go over the games first, and then we'll go to my fantasy, since we have a whole lot of losing this week. First off, we'll start with the absolutely most disgusting game of the year, probably. The Cardinals lost to the Jets 7-6. And if in any way you think that this was like it must have been a great defensive struggle, it wasn't. It was a blatant display of some of the most pathetic offense, specifically quarterbacking, in the history of the NFL. Period. Between Sanchez and Lindley, I could have done better. I wish Tebow would have been active. He could have done better. Anybody could have done better. That Mike and Mike were talking about it, that they could have gotten Ron Jaworski, who's 60, and Jaws could have done better. Ugly, ugly, ugly game. Let me give you some of the pointers here. The Cardinals were 0-15 on third down, which is really funny. We had a better percentage of completing on fourth down, we were 1-2, than we did on third down. Lindley went 10 for 31 for 72 yards and 1 interception. Problem is, he also had 2 sacks. So actually, he had 56 yards of passing. That's right. A quarterback, a professional football team in the National Football League, ended a game with 56 yards passing. Like, really? He also had a passer rating of 28 and a QBR. The QBR is the new way of rating. 0 to 100. 50 is about average. QBR of 3. Not 33, not 23, not 93. 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Yet somehow he wasn't taken out of the game. Sanchez did better than that, and he got pulled. But no, left Lindley in there. Really rest of the team. Beanie had 15 rushes for 22 yards. Fitzy had 1 catch for 23 yards, even though he was targeted 7 times. Our defense was decent. Got 3 interceptions, 2 of them by Kerry Rhodes. 1 was a beautiful pick by Patrick Peterson. Incredible control. Came across and contorted his body. It was very impressive. Really, the game was set up for us. I mean, their kicker missed 2 field goals. We made 2. Sanchez went 10 for 21 for 97 yards and 3 interceptions with 3 sacks in the course of about 3 quarters. His QBR, well, his passer rating was 21.4, and his QBR was 4.4. So the combined QBR for the 2 starting quarterbacks was 7.4. I'm glad that I couldn't watch that game, because I would have probably broken the TV. I would have been so disgusted. Anyway, LeBron Landry, shout out to my boy. I like LeBron. I know I've mentioned it before, but him and I rehabbed injuries at the same place in Scottsdale, so he was a really cool dude. He got an interception, and Sean Green actually had a good game. He went 24 carries for 104 yards, so pretty solid. But really, the game was set up for us. Then third string quarterback comes in, and it was a horrible play. It was a horrible pass. It blew up our coverage, and was what it was. So that was probably the worst loss that I've gotten all year for the Cardinals. Horrible. Then we go over to the Ravens game, which was ugly, brutal, painful, literally and figuratively. Just, ugh. So after Charlie Batch looked horrible last week, I'm really thinking, here we go. This is going to be beautiful. Get the Ravens essentially locking up the division. We're good. Instead, the Ravens lost 23-20 to the Steelers. We were 3-11 on third down, only had 288 total yards. Flacco went 16 for 34, less than 50%, for 188 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, 3 sacks, with a rating of 61.9 and a horrible 23.7 QBR. He also had, thanks to James Harrison, a horrible fumble. The fumble that essentially lost the game. Reed got a great interception. Got to give my shout out to my boy Ed. Graham got a great interception. Ray Rice, 12 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. But the best player on your team did not touch the ball one time in the fourth quarter. Not once. Not one time. Why? I wish I could tell you, but not once. Sickening. Batch actually had a pretty solid game. 25 to 36 for 276 with 1 TD, 1 interception. QBR at 53.1. Passer rating 89.6. And the most impressive thing he did was ran a 6-minute long drive in the fourth quarter that got him down there to kick the winning field goal. He also had a really good drive, converting I think 3 different third downs, finally ending up getting Heath Miller a touchdown, who actually had a great game, 97 yards and a touchdown that tied the game up and killed us. And like I said, Harrison forced a Flacco fumble. Also, there was a crazy play where Emmanuel Sanders got the pass. He was trying to switch arms and the ball flew out. So that was kind of awesome. Got us a nice little fumble recovery there. So that was another loss. So 0-2 with my teams. Some other pretty cool games that happened. Colts, Andrew Luck's looking good. They got a great last-second win over Detroit. Literally last second. As the dude crossed Donnie Avery, I think, scored. As he crossed the goal line, the game ended. Packers won, even with Adrian Peterson getting 210 yards. He had one of those runs, where what you just expect out of him, where he just shucks dudes off of him for like 20 yards. Seattle got a really good overtime win against the Bears. It was pretty awesome, actually. They marched down the field, kicked a field goal to tie it up, marched down the field in overtime, and threw a great pass to Sidney Rice, who got destroyed as he was crossing the end zone. Fumbled the ball, but they say that he had crossed the plane, so he got the win. What almost looked like they were going to tie it for back-to-back weeks, the Rams ended up beating the 49ers in overtime with like a 54-yard field goal. So shout out to them, I guess. And then finally, Robert Griffin III, while he didn't put up crazy numbers, really is looking good. I picked this game, feel good about it. I made the right pick. But he and his Redskins beat the Giants on Monday Night Football. Really just made Eli Wiz look bad. As good as he looked, as good as the Giants looked the week before against the Packers, they looked that bad here. And not only did RG3 play very well, but the Redskins defense stepped up. So got their third straight win, and now it's looking like they can make the playoffs. So we'll see. And then that gets us over to my fantasy teams. We'll start off with the loss. Lost in any given Sunday league. Lost to my own girl Jen and the Bipolar Penguins, 140.24 to 93.52, which pretty much eliminates me from playoff contention. It would take a pretty large miracle to, I don't even think it is possible to be quite honest, but it would be pretty tough if it was a possible. Which really sucks because I had a great day for my defense. The Texans defense got me 24 points. They had 6 sacks and 6 turnovers, as well as they got 6 points for only holding them to like 10 points, I think. But other than that, and Mason Crosby, who I was bemoaning the fact that I picked him up off of waivers, and I'm happy he got 12 points. Other than that, Brady got me 13 points, only got 1 touchdown and threw an interception, which is his first one of like 200-something passes. Gore got me 11.8 with 1 touchdown. Britt got me 11 with a touchdown, got a fumble though. But the craziest thing is this was actually a game I could have won because Aaron Rodgers really didn't have that great of a day. And really all she had going was Jets D, got her 20 points. And then Des Bryant got her 24.8 and Pierre Garçon got her 20.6. The problem is that Santana Moss and Brandon Gibson both put up goose eggs. Big zeros. So that just killed me, and there was no way I could come back. It just was what it was. So, lost there. I'm now 6-7. Pretty sure I'm out of it. I don't see me pulling that one out. But we will go over to the win. And to tell you how close of a win it was, let's just say that I was 0.9 points away from going 0-4. I've been skating by the skin of my teeth so many times in this league, and I am not complaining. In the BFFL league, I got the win from my boy John, 84 to 83.2. Love it. Of course, pretty much everybody else in the league would have beaten me if I would have played them, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I ended up made a ton of waiver wire moves. Just sick of players that just weren't producing, injury, stuff like that. So I ended up making some moves. Picked up Chad Henne, who got me like 19 points. Picked up Jaloie Bell. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. He's the Detroit backup running back. Picked up T.Y. Hilton. All that. So actually, I made a couple other moves as well. It was pretty good. I usually don't make a lot of moves, so I felt good about it. And the only reason I won, I had Mason Crosby in that week as well, got me 11 points. But the only reason that I won is that he had Beanie, who got 2 points, because, like I said earlier, the Cardinals had no running. He had the Panthers defense, who got 1 point. And the best part of it all is my Dallas defense got 1 sack. If they hadn't gotten that sack, I would have lost. But thanks to that 1 sack, I ended up winning, which takes my record to 9-4 and gives me the top seed first round bye in that league. Playoffs start this coming week. Feel pretty good about it. Especially with how, when you look at the power rankings and I'm like fourth from the bottom, hopefully I can run this streak for 2 more weeks and, well, 3 more weeks this week and the next 2 weeks. And hopefully I can run this streak to a win. Really, really, really hoping. So if anybody has some great sleepers, tips, something like that you want to send my way, I'll at your boy. So there you have it. Week 13 of the 2012 NFL and Fantasy Recap. Horrible week. Went 1-3. And sorry, Ray, but you're going on the shelf. Oh, also forgot to mention, after Ray tore his triceps, and he's going to be coming back in 2 weeks, Mr. Sizzle popped a bicep. He's going to get a second opinion, but looking like that's ruptured. So hopefully it's one of the versions of a ruptured bicep where you can kind of keep playing, because having him come back was huge. And I know we're going to have Ray come back, and I know it's going to be huge. But for the playoffs, we need everybody we can get. So there you have it. That is the Week 13 recap. I am Matthew Maley. This is MatthewMaley.com. As always, thank you guys for checking out my videos. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how your guys' teams went. All that crazy stuff. If you want to weigh in on the old Javon Belcher, send me a video response. Leave a comment. You know, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into it. But at the same time, this is social media. That's what we're here for, to be social and discuss things. So leave me your information, posts, thoughts, all that. You can either do that on MatthewMaley.com. I've got the discussion tab, or you can do that on YouTube. Again, search for Matthew Maley Poker and just leave your comments there. You can also check me out and leave me a message on Facebook. Again, search for Matthew Maley Poker. Or you can tweet me at Matthew Maley. Or if you really want to, I guess you could just leave me a comment on Instagram. Again, Matthew Maley Poker. So until the next video, I'm officially signing off. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Your week started off well. Your teams won. I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace out, y'all.